Welcome back. Let's talk about 10 guitarists who never chased the spotlight but left it all on the stage anyway. The ones whose genius was too pure, too real to fit the industry mold. These players didn't need fame to prove they were masters. Let's dive in. Number one on our list might surprise you, but Rory Gallagher was the real deal. Back in the late 60s, while rock was getting louder and flashier, Rory was quietly forging his own path with his band taste. He blended blues roots with raw, unfiltered energy. You could hear echoes of Muddy Waters, but Rory's sound was all his own. Fiery, emotional, completely honest. That guitar tone of his, warm, biting, unmistakable, came from his famously battered Stratocaster. It wasn't flashy gear, it was heart and hands. Songs like A Million Miles Away carried a kind of longing that stuck with you. And life? He was sweat, soul, and sincerity. No ego, just music. Here's where it gets interesting. In January 1975, Rory jammed with the Rolling Stones after Mick Taylor left. He bonded with Charlie Watts, but Keith Richards was struggling with addiction and barely showed up. Unable to wait for an answer, Rory left a note and flew to Japan for his tour. Some say he turned them down, but really the chance just slipped away. Maybe that's why his music still hits so deep. Coming to number two, I still remember seeing that PBS documentary from 1971 introducing Roy Buchanan. The subtitle said it all: the world's greatest unknown guitarist. He stood in a plain room wearing regular clothes, no rock star attitude. Then he picked up his 53 Telecaster and everything changed. He made that guitar weep. No distortion pedals, just volume swells, pinch harmonics, and pure touch. It was like he was talking through the strings. There's one performance that haunts me. His version of Sweet Dreams. Slow, aching, full of space. You could hear the sorrow in every note. Roy wasn't just playing music. He was exercising something. He struggled. Alcohol, depression, never really fitting in with the industry. He turned down joining the Rolling Stones too, just like Rory. Maybe he was too pure for all that. His death in 1988 under mysterious circumstances in a jail cell still doesn't sit right. But his playing, that truth, it stays with you.
I like the way you walk. I dig the way you talk.
Moving on to number three, the first time I saw Johnny Winter was on old footage from Woodstock. He walks on stage, skin pale as moonlight, long white hair, Les Paul slung low, and tears into Mean Town Blues. No warm-up, no nonsense. Just straight into fire. It was raw, almost reckless, but completely locked in. That's who he was. Johnny wasn't about pretty solos or clean phrasing. He attacked the guitar. Slid, bent, shredded with a fury that felt more like survival than performance. But underneath that speed and flash was deep respect for the blues. Muddy Waters called him one of the best, and Johnny produced 3 of Muddy's late career albums out of pure love for, the music. He battled heroin, health issues, the industry, but he kept going. Even toward the end, slouched in a chair, barely able to stand, his fingers still moved like lightning. The blues kept him alive, and we're lucky he shared it. Said to Walt Parasiter, "Your guitar player is better than me." And he meant it. You listen to early Chicago, before the ballads, before the horns took center stage, and you'll hear Terry unleashing pure, controlled chaos on that guitar. Take, for instance, 25 or 6 to 4. That solo, It doesn't just shred, it breathes, climbs, falls, and hits you in the chest. He used a Fender Telecaster with a Gibson humbucker jammed in there, and somehow made it sing like both. You could hear soul, jazz, even Hendrix in his phrasing, but it always came out Terry. If you watch a clip of Chicago at Tanglewood in '70, you'll see Terry ripping through a solo with one hand on the neck, the other waving in the air like he's conducting electricity. No pedals, no tricks, just feel. It wasn't polished, but man, it was alive. That moment stuck with me. Coming in at number 5, watch Live at the Agora from the late 70s, and you'll see Frank Marino in his element, locked into a solo, eyes half closed, channeling something otherworldly. With Mahogany Rush, he built a reputation for extended improvisational pieces that felt more like meditations than songs. Early on, critics labeled him a Hendrix imitator. It's true, Hendrix was a major influence. Marino even claimed a spiritual connection after a psychedelic experience as a teenager. But what followed was uniquely his. His phrasing was fluid, his tone thick and vocal-like, and his delay-drenched solos seemed to stretch time itself. His live version of Dragonfly is a masterclass in tension and release. Every bend, every sustain feels intentional, alive. Joe Bonamassa once called him one of the most criminally underrated players of all time, and he's right. Marino didn't chase trends or radio play, he just played, and what he left behind still echoes in the fingers of today's best. Number 6 takes us to Robin Trower. Before going solo, he played guitar in Procol Harum, the band known for A Whiter Shade of Pale, but Trower wasn't in it for the Baroque pop. He was chasing something deeper, something heavier. When he struck out on his own, that vision became crystal clear. In the mid-70s, guitar rock was loud, fast, and full of bravado. Trower went the other way. His 1974 album Bridge of Sighs wasn't a blast of noise. It was a slow drift into mood and atmosphere. His tone, thick, liquid, drenched in univibe, wrapped around you like smoke. Tracks like Daydream and Two Rolling Stoned didn't need speed. They had soul. Trower didn't play to impress. He played to express. In a time when everyone wanted to be the loudest, Robin made silence and space part of the music. He didn't shout, he whispered. And those who were really listening heard something unforgettable. Sliding into number 7, as the guitarist for Yes, Steve Howe didn't just play guitar. He opened up entirely new textures in progressive rock. He brought in acoustic, electric, classical, and steel string styles, sometimes all in the same song. What he added to Yes wasn't just technical skill, it was imagination. Take The Clap, a solo acoustic piece recorded live in one take. It's quick, clever, and joyful, like a ragtime tune dressed in rock clothing. Then jump to Siberian Kotru or Roundabout, where he layers country bends, jazz flourishes, and classical phrasing into arrangements that still hold up 50 years later. Where other guitarists stuck to distortion and riffs, Howe played like a composer, building passages, creating tension, telling stories. His work on albums like Fragile and Close to the Edge helped shape the DNA of prog rock. He didn't just follow the song. He sculpted it, gently, brilliantly, and always with feel. At number 8, Alex Lifeson has always been the quiet craftsman behind Rush's towering sound. While Neil Peart wrote the lyrics and Geddy Lee commanded the high vocals and bass lines, Lifeson was there weaving guitar parts that gave the band its sonic depth. He didn't compete for space. He carved out his own. Early tracks like Anthem and Working Man had grit and bite. But as the band matured, so did his approach. By the time they reached albums like Moving Pictures and Hemispheres, Lifeson had developed a style rooted in atmosphere. His use of chorus and delay became signature, adding width and texture that elevated every track. In Limelight, his solo soars, but it never overshadows. It fits. That was his genius. He never needed flash to impress. And maybe that's why so many guitarists admire him. Lifeson didn't just play the song, he built the space it lived in. Rolling into number 9, Michael Schenker was just 17 when he played lead guitar on the Scorpions' debut album, Lonesome Crow, released in 1972. Even at that age, his tone and phrasing were far beyond his years. When he joined UFO, shortly after, he became the engine behind some of their most iconic work. His solo on Rock Bottom, especially the live version on Strangers in the Night, is still considered a high watermark in hard rock guitar playing. Schenker's style was all about balance. He had blistering speed when needed, but more importantly, he had taste. His melodic sense, smooth vibrato, and dynamic control gave his solos a narrative quality. You could follow the art. After UFO, he formed the Michael Schenker Group, where he kept evolving, blending classical influences into heavy rock with precision. Schenker didn't just play guitar, and he sculpted moments. Every solo told a story, and that's what set him apart. And finally, number 10 brings us to Buck Dharma, born Donald Roser, the guitar mastermind behind Blue Oyster Cult, active since the band's formation in 1971. While the group built its mystique on cryptic lyrics and eerie imagery, Buck was the architect of its most memorable melodies. His solo on Don't Fear the Reaper in 1976 is hauntingly perfect, subtle, melodic, and unforgettable. It showed the power of restraint in an era of excess. Earlier work like Then Came the Last Days of May in 1972 revealed a sensitive, cinematic touch, while Godzilla in 1977 proved he could rock with force and precision. Through it all, Buck kept a low profile, letting the music speak. Unlike many of his peers, Buck never left the band. He carried Blue Oyster Cult through the decades, continuing to tour and record well into the 2020s. Still active, still sharp, Buck Dharma remains one of rock's most enduring and underrated guitar voices. These players didn't chase fame. They chased feel, tone, and truth. Their names may be quieter, but their guitars still echo in every note we cherish.